Welcome everyone, or welcome back. You're watching the second session of the quarterfinal of the 2023 World Billiards Championship, coming to you live from the Landywood Snooker Club. My name's Jason Colebrook. I'm joined by Chris Coombe. G'day, Chris.
Hi, Jason. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, we've seen some great billiards here, and this match is still in the balance, really. I mean, Peter Gilchrist is obviously enjoying a lead, but there's still time left, isn't there, really?
Yes, an hour and a half with players of this quality. The only quarterfinal that's probably decided is Dave Corsier, 600 plus ahead. But at this stage, the four top seeds, four highest players in the rankings are all leading in their quarterfinals.
So off we go then. And although Peter's not right at the perfect top of the table position, this is not a bad place to start off from, is it? To get your feel back again after that short break.
Very nice. He loves this reverse top, and he's pretty good, obviously, at converting at the top when the time comes. But he does like to milk the reverse top, whereas a lot of players like to convert it as quick as they can. When I've talked to him about it, he sort of thinks it's an easy 40 or 50 points. But I know like Russell, Matthew Bolton, they'll convert it as fast as they can. There we go.
Yeah, I think when the white gets to roughly that sort of distance from the spot towards the pyramid spot, then
He's not happy with that. He's underscrewed that. He would have liked to have had a little better angle. He'll probably have to play thin cannon here. Referee for this match is Stefan Ng from Singapore. Singapore referees are doing all four of the quarterfinals.
Yeah, we're really grateful for their support from World Billiards perspective, and they've obviously come a long way, and they work very hard, as have all the referees. So it's long days here in this time format. So
yeah, European referees will be taking over for the semis and the final. A little bit of check side. He's had the pace of the table very well in this match. He's overhit that slightly, but these guys are showing you the longevity in the sport of billiards. Peter is 55 years old. Martin is 61 years old. Overscrew.
Yeah, both players have been playing at such a high level for a long time and such great consistency over that time. I mean, Martin's had a great win over Dave Corsier in the Jim Williamson Open in August, so he's still playing at a very high level, and he's won ranking events in the World Billiards in the last 10 years or so.
For anyone who doesn't know about Martin, Martin's written 3 very informative books about the game of billiards. The first one, The Snooker Player's Guide to English Billiards, is a great book for anyone wanting to take it up. And then the following 2 books are a little more advanced.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And the Snooker Player's Guide to English Billiards there that you mentioned, Jason, is actually available on the World Billiards website as an ebook, a PDF. So if you register an account, then you can access that. It's great. They're just so well presented and so detailed. It's fantastic. So much to learn.
He's an interesting guy to talk to, Martin. He's British Airlines. Oh, he's not happy with that. British Airlines pilot in his working career, and has a very good understanding of physics. So all of these guys know what the billiard balls do, but Martin knows why they do and can explain it to you.
Yeah, and he's very good at nursery cannons as well as Martin. Not very often that you get to see them being played, but I know if he was to put the balls in that position or or even there has been times when he's got the position in the match and he's showed us a run of those delicate shots.
And he's brought his mass AQ. He played a shot earlier with his mass AQ as well. He's got a little 3 foot. The minimum length of a cue is 3 foot. Got a little 3 foot mass AQ.
Yeah, and he never has any hesitation in getting that cue out if needed.
Loves it.
It's got as Jason said, it's just over 3 feet in length to be legal, and it's also got a different sort of tip on it, which I think is very, very soft. I think it's got different layers. It's worth a closer look if you get the chance.
I'm not sure, but I think Lindrum had a rubber tipped cue for some of those sort of trick shots and masse shots.
Yeah, and the idea is that you can just, especially the little, very almost mini masses, which are hardly masses, but just enough to just go around a ball and get a cannon when you're close in, and you can do it quite effortlessly. Whereas with a normal cue and quite a hard tip that I think Martin uses for his normal playing cue, that might be quite difficult.
The tip on Martin's normal playing cue is a blue diamond. Peter is using one of the Straits Billiards Paradigm tips, which a lot of talk about. Anyone who's on Facebook will know a lot of the billiards players are trying them. They've been very successful. Peter worked with the guys for developing those tips. I believe they've got shorter fibres. They shape very quickly, hold their shape, and you get a very soft feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's 5 grades starting from super soft up to very hard, I believe. I've got the super soft tip on, and yeah, it's good. It feels like you can get a good bite on the cue ball when you're playing shots that need, especially at the top, when you just need to get action on the cue ball delicately without putting too much space in the object ball.
Some positions that without the soft action, you just can't hold them. You really need that little soft stun or soft screw.
This is the ideal start for Peter Gilchrist, getting the balls to the top so early on in this second session.
This is a great club for anyone who's in the area or hasn't been here or is travelling through this area. Really terrific club. There's 4 star tables in one room. They're playing on a star table here. And there's 8 tables in another room. 4 are Riley Silvers. I'm not sure what the other 4 are. Really great club. Good lighting, good atmosphere, lots of memorabilia around the walls. Staff are fantastic and friendly. Heated slates. Really, really nice club. Good food. Plenty of beer on tap. Everything you could want.
Yeah, it's top class, Jason. It really is. And it's one of the nicest clubs that certainly that I've ever been in. Everything just seems to be, you know, the attention to detail is fantastic.
Some places just have a great atmosphere, don't they? Some clubs have all the things you need, but there's no atmosphere.
Yeah, and I know the club are very honoured to have hosted this event, and I'm sure we'll be back here for more in the future.
Definitely.
But Peter's just gone away slightly from the perfect top of the table position now. Just needs to work out how to get the balls back again.
He's just under-hit and over-hit a couple of shots. He had the pace perfect in that first session, but you sit down for half an hour, you've almost got to warm up again. Wherever you're watching from, do say hello in the comments. Let us know who you are and where you are.
I wonder if we'll see this white go up and down the table back behind the spot. That's what he's played. Straight to the drop cannon position. Though it's gone just to the left of the spot as we look at it, but it's pretty good, I think.
Pretty good. 24 feet and he's out by about 3 inches.
Yeah, I think we'll give him that one, Jay.
Yeah. He'd probably want to cannon this from behind rather than direct. Get a much nicer red by playing it that way. Played that cannon direct, it would have been very hard to hold the red. A little bit of check side. He hasn't really gotten into top gear yet, Peter. You know how fast he is when he's going. He's not as fast as Dave Corsier, but he's pretty fast. He's taking his time.
Yeah, we know he's in great form recently. In the last 2 tournaments in New Zealand last month, he made 3 breaks over 500. So
Yeah, fantastic.
he was really playing well at that point, and so it does look like he can certainly go deeper. And as we know, he's obviously one of the favourites. But like I say, I think he's not quite fully flowing to his not usual high standard. But
he has had a back issue lately. People who know Peter know that he intermittently has back problems. I think he's all right this week, but last week he wasn't able to put in the time he wanted. He was just looking after his back. The top of your screen there, you can see Peter Sheehan playing in one of the other quarterfinals. And he's been a close match. Peter was leading John Mullane about 420 to 300. And John Mullane's having a very good week. Reached the semi-final of the English Open, beat Rob Hall. Nearly beat Rob Hall in the round robin of this. Rob made an 86 unfinished to win by 85.
Yeah, he's a great player, John, and he's been around the circuit in the UK for quite some time. But the last maybe a couple of years, he started to play more in the WBL events as well, and probably players from outside of the UK may not have seen him play so much, apart from maybe on streaming. But a great flow and cue action, great scorer. And I believe he played snooker at high level as well, so just a great cueist all round.
Hello, Mick Williams from Ballarat. Hello, Ralph Gray from Melbourne, Australia. Both a couple of billiards players from Australia. Mick's the president of the Ballarat Association. Very good little association with great club rooms. Ivan Chua from Singapore is watching. Ivan is a snooker player who's a recent convert to billiards. Very keen. Has the advantage of being a very solid pot, which really helps. People think, beginners think billiards is all about in-offs, but you've got to be able to pot consistently.
Absolutely. And John Metcalf there. Hi, John, who's tuning in. He is from the Carlisle area in the UK, which is where we'll be heading soon for the British Open. It's on the first weekend in December.
We're chatting away while Peter's just done a very unusual balk line crossing.
Yeah, the bulk line warning between 80 and 100 in every 100 points during a break. But in that case, he had to completely just trust to luck as to where all the balls ended up there.
I've seen him do some amazing balk line crossings over the years.
Great cannon. Still trying to get hold of the position here, though. It's going to be tricky to keep the break going.
Yeah, no, this is an awkward position. In a tight match, I think that he'd be playing safe here, but he's got a pretty good margin of error.
Yeah, I mean, on these tables with the heated slates, as you mentioned, Jason, and you can really force those in-offs very wide, but even that was asking a lot there. But
tables are playing very well. Ball's running very true. Just caught it a bit thick. He had to get that a little bit thinner.
And at least from Martin's point of view, he knew that Peter's cue ball was on the top cushion, so there was a chance he was going to leave that safe if he missed it.
Matthew Woodward watching from Cornwall. G'day, Matthew. Yeah, Chris Mitchell won the plate event, the Challenge Cup for the English Open. Very popular guy amongst the billiards players. It was great to see him. Rob Young from Geelong in Melbourne, in Australia. G'day, Rob. About 10 o'clock at night in Australia or something like that. That'd be good, good YouTube time. Great pot. These are hard to judge, these long distance thin cannons, aren't they?
Absolutely. There's always a chance of going around the back of the red if you miss it on the inside.
So hard to judge. And you can get it, when you're so close, you sort of get a little springy contact.
And you may only be fractionally off at the moment you hit the object ball. By the time it hits the red, you can miss it by quite a way.
Yeah. Very hard to judge. Charlie Lowe's watching, also from Sunbury in Victoria, Australia. But this is our first time back in the UK for 5 years for the World Billiards Championship. We were at Leeds in 2018. We were in Melbourne 2019, 2 years off for the pandemic. Singapore 2022. I know the English players are very happy to see it come back here for this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that there was a group of the UK players that were able to get to Singapore and indeed Melbourne in 2019. But yeah, it's been very popular back in the UK. I see there's been some spectators as well that are here, so enjoying the action. Local league players that are coming along to watch who may not have been to an event before, so it's good to see the great support there for this event.
With Peter's ball against the jaw there, Martin can probably try and run a few hazards. The embedded scoring in this stream is from ProScore. Oh, that was a bad miss. Yeah, ProScore, one of our sponsors. The balls are the Aramis Pro Cup balls, sponsored by the Saluk company. Thanks to our sponsors.
Yes, absolutely. And we've got straw number 10 cloth on these 4 tables. And they're all recovered before the event. So, as we said, it's been fantastic playing conditions.
You can really notice the difference with the strawn 10. At the Ronnie O'Sullivan Snooker Academy in Singapore, 10 of the tables have super fine and 2 have strawn 10. And it's just that little bit more reactive.
Yeah, it's exactly the same cloth they use in the World Snooker Tour events.
Yeah.
We've had a message there on the comments from Alan Gibson asking about the score in the Peter Sheehan match. We'll see if we can get that for you shortly.
Yeah, Peter was 120 ahead at the start of this session. It's been a little bit scrappy this game since they kicked off. Mark Wilson from Middlesbrough said hello. Great Billiard City. Martin Gawthorpe driving home. Mark Hill.
Yeah, Peter's still just trying to get the position back again in prime position. Looks like he can get a thin cannon off this white onto the red. That's worked out fairly well for him. You can obviously pot this red. So he should be able to reach over. Peter's pretty tall, so that helps in situations like this.
Peter's 195 centimetres. Only uses a 58-inch cue. A lot of people think he must have a longer than standard cue, but 58. A new cue he acquired recently. Very happy with it. First time he used it was in New Zealand when he made the 3 breaks over 500.
You know, if that was similar setup to his old cue with tip size?
Yeah, very similar. 9.5 tip size.
Yeah, I think that's pretty standard, I think, isn't it? Although some players do use a 10mm tip.
Yeah.
I think very rarely you'll see any player using a tip that's bigger than that.
Peter Sheehan's now 300 odd ahead. Bruce Johnson says hello. Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, the question about the last 32, it's just a convention. If we had a field of more than 60, we probably would play the whole last 32. But when the field is reduced, we have 8 buys. It is the round of 32, but we actually only take 24 players through. So that round has 8 buys. It's really just a convention, no special reason for it.
That cannon pushes both balls up the table, and enough a white to red cannon here should set up a good position, I think, if he can.
Oh, just not quite right.
Yeah, he just didn't quite get on the red as he wanted there.
Quite a tough shot. Nice shot.
32.
Yeah, held that very well, and this drop cannon now is certainly on. I think it does look a little bit wide, so he may have to go via the top cushion.
Looks like he's spotting to play it off the top cushion. Yeah, he's covered the spot. Probably play a... Well, there's several ways he could go. He could screw white to red. Could screw in off the red. I think he'll play screw white to red. Try and get a nice little drop on the red. Don't worry too much about the white ball there. Just keep it in open play and not bury it on a cushion. Crucial part of that shot's getting the nice drop on the red. Played for the half ball line there off the red. It's just a little bit wide, so he'll have to put it in and out of ball.
Yeah, these are shots a bit like what I was mentioning earlier, where you don't have to hit it too hard. You could still. I had one that was very, very wide. Hit it, and I had to hit it on a normal club table, it would just be far too wide. But I managed to get the in off and even kept the red went in and out of bulk, but it didn't actually stay in bulk. It stayed sort of near the middle of the table. So
Drop cannon. Ooh. People are always asking me how you get a good result out of drop cannons. If anyone finds out, please let us know.
And even the great Walter Lundgren said that drop cannons are risky, and he often preferred to play the enough white in the middle, drop it down, put on the spot, and then pop the red.
Here we go. He's had one practice at this drop cannon, so let's see how he goes this time. He probably wants to hit that red quarter ball or half ball. He hit that full ball, and that's what happens.
Yeah, he's not too happy about the way that ended up.
When you play a cannon at a ball that's close to the cushion, it's unless you double kiss it, you really end up with a bad leave hitting it full. Another screw cannon.
51.
Looks like it could be a cover. But should be able to play a run through here.
Tricky bit's going to try and avoid the jaw with that red. He wants to bring the red up and down the table. Oh, that's clever. He's just going to leave it over that pocket rather than try and bring it up and down. Anything could have happened there. So easy to miss that shot.
Gilchrist, 53.
Yeah, over distance, and even though the red looked close to the pocket, as you say, it was far from easy. A lot tougher shot than it looked, that one.
Rob Hall 600, Darren Clark 174. Darren put in a very nice game last night in the last 16 round. Made a nice 193 break. Played very solid. Oh, that's ugly. Might have to play cannon off the top cushion, off the bottom cushion. Usually with these, you'll find the players play them slowly to keep the balls close. You can't really control where they're going.
6.
You leave them close, you've always got a screw cannon, one ball to the other.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could go in off the red here, but as you say, using the opportunity to play the screw cannon, get the yellow out of bulk. Hopefully drop on the red correctly.
Not quite right, but it shouldn't present any problems. A tricky screwing off or a long, thin cannon. It hasn't worked out well for him. Yeah, that's the penalty for not getting a nice drop on the red on that screw shot. So crucial.
This could be a time where we see a safety shot. I mean, the safety is not hugely common in billiards, but you do see it.
You do.
At this level.
So he's got the option of playing a cannon loads of side. No, he's not. He's going to play safe.
Martin Goodwill, 10.
Peter might have a go here. White right-hand side cushion across to the red. Needs a little bit of force on it. Yeah, nice shot. You get so much topspin with that shot. You've got to throw it wide to beat the topspin arc.
Yeah, once that topspin grips, doesn't it? It really makes it hard to judge. Slickness of the cloth comes into play there.
Borzier leading Steve Brookshaw by 770, roughly. Max Harrison watching from Germany, originally from Middlesbrough. Eastside, is that Middlesbrough?
Yes, yeah, that's a hotbed for billiards. And, there's some great players there. Of course, the Teesside Boys Billiards League was where a lot of the top players of today, including of course Peter Gilchrist and Dave Corsier, that's where they learnt their trade, I suppose, and there's been so many good players from that area over the years, and still.
There's no seats in there to sit down, so you can take that up here.
This is a good experience for the Singapore referees. They play 100 up in Singapore,
Well, yeah, they do. Yeah, yeah.
right through Asia.
So did you go last year, Singapore?
You're on the commentary.
Oh, right.
That's what I said.
These drop cannons are a bit easier to control when that red's not near the cushion. Having said that, he's put it near the cushion. Oh, this is not too bad. A little bit of left-hand side off that red. No, he's played white.
Looks like the red will spot though, so I think when he pots his red, it'll be
Yep.
a pretty good position to continue from.
17,
Nathan Mann tuning in. How you doing, Nathan?
19,
Unfortunately, he was not able to make it to this event, but one of our regulars, of course, on
Yeah.
World Billiards.
Good player.
So this just looks like Peter's really getting into good position now. Needs a cannon off the top cushion though, just to drop on the white.
26,
Mark Bookin saying hello. G'day, Bart. Hope we see a nice break here.
31,
What part of England does John Mullane come from, Chris?
So he comes from the Southampton area, so on the sort of southern part of England.
He doesn't travel to a lot of events, does he?
No, he doesn't travel he's too far. No, I think he may well have only played in English and Scottish events. You know, we have the World Match Play in Ireland, but I don't think he's been over to Ireland. And I don't recall him ever playing in any overseas events. But
His ranking would be a lot higher if he played a few more events.
absolutely, I think he might just have got into the top 16 of the rankings, but from this after this event,
Yep.
which obviously has an impact on the group stage draws. The higher his seeding will be, then he'll almost become like one of the top two seeded players in one of the groups. So, but I know in the earlier matches, earlier events when he played, and he was quite low on the rankings, so he ended up causing some tough groups there.
Yeah, I had him and Rob Hall in my group. I think that was a pretty tough group.
Exactly.
54,
Stu K says hello. G'day, Stu. Keith McCready. G'day, Keith.
Not sure if Peter's gone quite far enough. Looks like no, he's not gone quite far enough to get underneath the white. So
Run through.
59,
you might be able to do that shot again in 2 shots time. Got the red, get high. Always keeping that white within that box that players often talk
Yeah.
about.
This is called floating white, where they try not to bury the white on the top cushion like postman's knock. It's a little bit low for that red, so this one's a bit tricky. Needs loads of check side. Or some people would call it running side. Yeah, no, he hasn't got enough. So white cushion, red cannon. Try and get a nice drop on the red.
69,
We just sneak in off the red slowly. Ooh.
Yeah, that shot 2 shots ago was check side off the object ball, running side off the cushion. But
Yeah.
that might be a
The
debate,
terminology is different.
maybe a debate for another time.
So we'll probably see a drag cannon here, and he doesn't want to hit that white too thick.
74.
Whoa, that's very lucky. Tony Elias is asking who's on commentary. My name's Jason Colbrook, and I'm with Chris Coombe. We're both on the board of World Billiards. The complaints department is closed at the moment.
I'm sure it'll reopen very soon.
Yeah.
No, I mean, all joking aside, it's been a great event, and the feedback has been great. So
Yeah, no, everyone's loved the club. I haven't heard a bad comment about the club.
there's always things that we always try to look at and obviously listen to what players are saying and officials, but yeah, fantastic event. There's still well, another 2 days to go, really. So
So Peter's just got the balk line warning. Has to cross the balk line before he reaches 100. He's usually a very good judge of pace on that shot.
yeah,
He often deliberately leaves that screw back when there's another option. It's a bit wide to play off the cushion off the white. He wants to.
looks like that white is pretty tight on the cushion. It
Does,
does appear.
yes. You'd have to play it thin with screw. I think it's risky. But he's taking time over this because he's planning his balk line crossing. He's only got sort of 4 or 5 shots.
Still back to looking at the cannon option.
Got the double kiss. He may have even played it as a double kiss, I'm not sure. It looked risky.
I mean, it was always going to move the white to a better position, but
Mm.
the cannon and leaving the shot on the red was far from certain, really.
92.
So still working, trying to get an angle for the bulk line crossing. This is getting a bit more tricky now.
92, this is tricky. He'd love to play a little cannon and get a nice drop on the red, leave himself angle, but it's not easy.
Ninety-five.
95, drop cannon will be 97.
Yeah, well, if this drop cannon goes right and he gets an angle on the red, I'm sure we'll be seeing the bulk line crossing after that. But just got to hope that the red doesn't land on the top cushion or something.
Yeah.
97.
Ooh.
Yeah, you could see from his expression there, he realises this is a tricky position now.
Oh, it may even see a safety. Can he play red, right-hand side cushion, white? What he's looking at now, I think.
Getting it a bit more pace to try and get the red out.
Or just slip past. Nice break. I was scoring for a match the other night. Steve Brookshaw made a beautiful 100, but forgot to cross the balk line. Had them at perfect top. He did get the warning, but he just ignored it.
Yeah, it's not something we play really in too many events, but it
No.
does make for some interesting situations.
Makes a big difference. There's so many breaks in the low hundreds where they've crossed the balk line, but just not maintained position after doing it. That's why we've never seen 1,000 break with the balk line crossing. To do 10 balk line crossings and for them all to finish up nice, it's a huge ask. I think Mike Russell holds the world record for the balk line crossing at 900 and something. Bit of luck there for Martin.
9.
He may just play 5-shot here, pot red stun cannon.
Yeah, it looks pretty wide, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Great pot.
great pot. Still plenty of work to do though.
12.
He might fancy this screw back along the cushion. Was he going to play cannon, thin cannon? Cannon.
4.
Very hard to judge.
Martin Goodwill. 12.
Yeah, that was tricky, that. And we've just had an update from the upper table as well. Rob Hall, 799. Darren Clark, 220. So Rob's starting to pull away over there.
Very thin cannon.
4.
His eyesight's still very good, Peter, at 55. He's really good at those thin shots.
6.
Might be able to leave himself a cannon here to leave himself positioned for a gathering cannon.
Yeah, nice thick run through on the whites. If he's got the angle for it.
Yeah, he wants to pace it to bring the white back under the spot. Oh no, he had to hit it a bit thicker. Or unlucky.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't quite the perfect
No,
angle
not
for it.
quite right.
but Right, you tried to manufacture it, but looks like the red probably won't pot, I don't think. Looking at that.
Thin enough. Too long a backswing for that. Yeah, nice shot. Very hard to judge that.
This is one of the screw cannons
Yeah.
controlling the red that you mentioned, Jason. Yeah, let's see how well he can control this.
15.
Pretty good. So that red's moved through about 27 feet. And he's probably got it within 6 inches of where he aimed.
17.
Because I'm commentating from England, I'm allowed to use imperial measurement.
20.
In Singapore, when I talk about inches, they don't know what I'm talking about.
So let's see if Peter can slot this red in. He knows the white is not covering the spots.
So here's that reverse top that we're talking about. In the old days, this used to be called easy top,
23.
probably because it's easy. And this is where Peter really likes to milk it.
Yeah,
Secret to this, he hasn't gone it here. He'll wait till he moves the white a little, is to try and make 2 pots for every cannon.
yeah. Whilst in normal floater white, the opponent's cue ball is often to one side of the spot, but here they generally the players tend to keep it in the middle of the table and along that line to just.
Great camera work there, showing the loop bridge for those soft shots. See, a lot of the players do that, and they stand up. They don't get down over the cue on those very close soft shots.
Let's see, keeping in close to the balls. Much easier to control rather than being far away.
42.
So he started this at about 20, this reverse top. Let's see how many he can make.
55.
He'll only be dropping on the white now, hardly moving it at all.
50. 56.
White staying on the centre line again.
53, 55,
It's great. You are have fire for them.
That's that trying to take 2 pots per cannon. He could have held for the cannon there, but he screwed back to try and take 2 pots. Each time you play the cannon, you move that white a little bit further away. So if you can get 8 points every time you do it instead of 5.
63, 66,
He'll probably go up to gather them.
That looks pretty good to send the white off the side
Yep.
cushion.
So he's made a quick 46 or 49 there without any real difficulty. You've got nice soft touch. That's a really nice way to build breaks.
73,
I often think for beginners at the game, they probably should practice easy top before they take on top. You develop good touch and reading the angle of the leaving your pot, leaving a nice angle for the pot.
78, 80, top line 1 at 80,
A lot of beginners, when they first get it, they monster each shot and move about 6 or 8 inches. You see Peter moving it a few millimetres.
83,
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing to practice, like you say, to
85,
develop that touch. Players might often use a lighter grip as well, bring the hand up the cue.
Yep. And sometimes a shorter bridge.
88, 90,
So had the opportunity there to get the whites off the top cushion. Looks like he can get underneath the white after this pot red. Although he's
Balk line crossing.
that's across the bulk line.
93, top line cross.
This is tricky. He'd like to pot the red and come back without hitting the white and leave a cannon. Just didn't quite have the right angle. That's okay, but a bit firmer would have been nice.
98, 100, 103, 105,
You're right, Dan Fan. I don't think we're going to see any real shock. In the World Billiards Championship, timed with the longer matches as we get further into the event, the top players usually come out on top. You get some upsets in the round robin stage. But these 3, 4, 5 hour matches,
115,
the class usually shows through.
Looks like that red's going to stop in time. But when it's close to the top cushion like that, the red can often spring, catch you out a bit, but looks pretty good from there.
It does, doesn't it? Have you read the physics explanation for that?
I've not, Jason.
Oh, right. So apparently, when the red's so close to the cushion, and you play that in off the red is sliding when it hits the cushion. It's not rolling. So there's this extra bit of friction. When the red is rolling, there's friction when it hits the cushion. Readers can't see my finger movements. But when it's sliding, there's less friction. That extra little bit of friction's not there, and that's why it sometimes feels like it comes back fast.
156,
Just underhit that one again.
139, 131,
A Question: are you obliged to carry on when you're so far behind? Yes. It's bad form to concede a match. It has been done. It's not uncommon, but it's really not the done thing. There are spectators watching this match. They're enjoying the billiards. People watching the stream. Billiards enthusiasts like to see big breaks. They don't matter so much that it's not a close match. Close matches are great, but it's also great to see a top player demolish his opposition.
Yeah, it gives the chance to see some really big breaks as well. And there always comes a time in a timed match when, if you're behind, there's not enough time to catch up. In fact, I know Martin, I've spoken to him about this before, and he has a very good understanding of knowing exactly how long he needs in order to score a 100 break, for example. He's got all that information in his mind, so he knows that if he gets the chance at the table in a close match, whether he needs to speed up or just play at his normal pace. Or
yes, Dan Fan, there was a draw in the round robin. When there are draws in the round robin stage, that just counts as half a win for each player. In the knockout stage, there'll be extra time if there's a draw. Grant Hayward from New Zealand and Alex Don from Wales had that draw. But there is a school of thought that that it's not good for the game, these long matches where one player dominates. Was why in Asia they usually play 100 up. For that very reason, that if you're playing a best of 5 100 up, you can be massacred in the first 2 games, 100-0, but you're still in the match, theoretically. One of the administrators from Thailand was a huge fan of billiards, really got it going in Asia, but he believed that this timed format wasn't good for the game.
yeah, absolutely, and it is the kind of the traditional format that's always been maintained as well for this main timed format, the main World Championship rather, which is always played under the timed format. But as you say, most billiard players, it's just a done thing, of course, just to carry on and play your best. Martin will know that this is obviously going to be, well, it does seem out of his reach now. But there's still time to see some more. Still time to see a good break from Martin here if he can get the balls in position. But
this event dates back to the 1800s. The players are playing for the John Roberts Trophy, which is made in 1860. It's the oldest World Championship trophy of any sport. It's on display here in the club. It's a great big ornate monster of a thing that I had to carry on the plane over here. Solid silver. You couldn't put a value on it. It's a piece of history. And that's what the players are playing for. If you haven't seen that trophy, you could Google John Roberts Trophy or just have a look on the World Billiards website. There'll be a photo there somewhere.
yeah, it's an amazing trophy. I mean, just the detail on the engraving. There's even a little scene of a billiards table and players playing billiards sort of engraved onto the side of the trophy. It's
the eyes on when I take that trophy through airport check-in and they scan it through the X-ray, the eyes on the people, they don't really know what they're looking at. I've only once had a box and pull it out so they could examine it, once in Dubai. Oh, that's a bad miss. Oh, he was going straight to top there.
Yeah, that could have been a chance to just see another nice break from Martin, but yeah, he'll be disappointed really. That
there's no shot clock in operation. Billiards is a fairly quick game. Occasionally you'll see a player pause when they've got to think about something. There is a rule that covers that. A lot of people incorrectly call it the slow play rule, but it's not. The rule is about deliberate time wasting. Very occasionally you'll get a close match in the dying stages and one player will try to waste a bit of time, and there's a process that the referees can use to handle that. Fortunately, it's very rarely needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very rare. And obviously, some players have played slower than others, obviously, but it's just
Yeah, so
yeah.
the guiding principle, and that is not whether you're a fast or slow player, but whether you suddenly change from one to, you're a fairly quick player and suddenly you're delaying to gain an advantage. There's referee Giorgio Go from Singapore, you can see in the top right of the screen, doing their Peter Sheehan match.
And we've also had a referee from Korea, Kilnam Lee.
Yeah, fantastic.
And it's great to hear that billiards is being played in Korea. So that was something that was very interesting to find out. And they do have players there and events, as well as snooker. And I think the main cue sport is carom billiards in Korea.
It is. The carom players adapt very well to billiards. Some of the Vietnamese guys, really nice billiard players.
Yeah, I remember playing in Leeds in the World Championship a few years back now, and watching them play was amazing. Different patterns of play than what you would normally see, but yeah, like you say, the cannons, screw cannons, controlling the balls, bringing them together, it was amazing, really. It's not a style of play that we usually see, but
No,
it's very interesting to watch how they go about making the breaks.
they seem to grip the cue very gently, the Vietnamese guys, almost just holding it in their fingertips.
Yeah, we've had a message. Free cushion billiards is, I think, one form of carom billiards. I think they do also have like 2 cushion, 1 cushion, and sort of carom where you don't need to hit any cushions. But so there's all different forms of that game. And Belgium, it's very popular, as well as, like I say, in countries such as Korea. And I think the players there are actually world-class players from Korea. So it's obviously a game that's sort of very popular, really, on their Q Sports scene. So that was a nice hit off there, leaving the drop cannon. Looks pretty good, that, to get nice bit contact on the red. And I think when the red's away from the top cushion like that, it makes it a lot easier to judge and get a good contact and leave a shot off it. That white just stops. That looks pretty good to me.
Dan Fan has asked about the new referees. We put out an international call for referees for these events, Dan. But unfortunately, at the moment, there's a bit of a lack of English referees. If anyone out there is interested in refereeing billiards, just get in touch with us. We'll push you in the right direction. We'll put you in touch with whoever you have to speak to become an accredited referee. The referees really enjoy these events. It's like a social occasion. At the end of the day, everyone gets together over a beer or a coffee and talks about the day. That they've got a good camaraderie amongst themselves and with the players.
Yeah, absolutely. And all the referees have felt, always felt that the players are always grateful and appreciative of that. And I know the referees are aware of that and feel very much part of the billiards scene, of course. Without the referees, events would be very difficult.
Most of these referees have played billiards, probably in their local leagues or social game with their mates, but it's not absolutely essential. There are some people have come from snooker background, become billiards referees. In Singapore, the referees have to be accredited in everything. If you're a referee in Singapore, you can do billiard, snooker, or pool. Other countries, they'll just accredit you in one or the other.
50.
If you enjoy seeing big breaks, the referee's got the best seat in the house.
Absolutely, and with billiards refereeing as well, you tend to get a lot closer to the balls. You're not always stood right behind the player as what you often see in snooker.
There's the referees for this event. Thanks, Sam. Our videographer, Sam Jones. What's the name of his business again?
TYP Live.
Does a great job. Really great job.
61.
Always looking for ways to improve or new tech.
Yeah, fantastic job, and we've had quite a number of events streamed over the last couple of years, and loads of footage on YouTube, and it's great to get the game seen on social media.
This is called a PK, that shot, when you raise the cue up to get a screw back effect.
Yeah, you almost hardly put any pace at all in the object ball, and
Yes.
getting plenty of action on the cue ball.
Oh, he's gone around it.
Hit the Gilchrist, 67.
Looking at PK, we may see another one here.
Yeah. He may get his little cue out.
That'll be good to see.
Come on, Martin. Get the little cue out.
There is a small gap between the red and the. Has he got it now? Can't quite see.
Oh, he's going to mess
There it
that.
is. So this is a Massey with a Massey cue.
Oh, just a tiny bit too much.
You hardly had to put anything in that shot.
Yeah.
But got the action on, and as I said earlier, just over 3 feet in length is that cue of a tip that's suited to Massey's. I think you can also play close cannons with that cue. I remember Martin showing me it also works well for that. I think it's the only player that I've ever seen that actually carries one of those cues, but he obviously uses it so well when the opportunity arises.
5.
It's John Mullane you can see playing on the top right of the screen there on the other table. Not really a top of the table player. He likes to give him a bit of a bump, but a very effective player.
Yeah, very flowing cue action.
And a lot of the players who prefer the open game aren't great pots, but John's a very solid pot.
Absolutely, and he has not seemed to have any trouble in adapting to the conditions as well.
No.
Which, as you say, a lot of players that tend to play a very open game can find it very difficult to adapt from a sort of more club style table to match table. So the white looks good. In off the red, or but
I think he's going to
cross the log
go around. Doesn't need to cross the balk line yet, but overcooked that a little bit. This is a shot the players practice to bump that white into the cushion and up into the other ball. Just slipped by. Or did it brush it? No, it slipped by. Stu says he's never mastered the masse shot. If you haven't already tried it, Stu, try the pencil grip. So you hold the cue a bit like a pencil rather than normal grip, and you get a lot more wrist in it. It's much easier with the pencil grip to get a masse. Peter doesn't do it that way, but most of the
Well,
others do. Martin definitely does.
Looks like Martin's getting his masse cue out again. So there's the picture of the John Roberts trophy that we talked about earlier. Suav Kafari.
That's the pencil grip you can see there.
Wow.
He's gone right round the first ball.
Got plenty of action on that. But he's, fortunately for Martin, he's in 2 shots time. Peter's going to be back in prime position again.
So anybody who's mucking around with masses or piquets, give the pencil grip a try. You can really get a lot more work on it easily. You don't have to bend your wrist at an unnatural angle.
That enough puts Peter over the 1,000 points mark in this match. Still 24 minutes to go.
Hey, Angus, one of our board members, absolutely loves his billiards.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, he couldn't be here. He's touring with his new show.
Yep. The billiards player, referee, magician, actor, singer, comedian. That's about it, I think.
Commentator?
Oh, commentator, yeah, commentator.
All round great guy and does a huge amount for billiards. Huge amount. So, yeah, we look forward to seeing him in another event in the near future, of course. But let's see what Peter looking like he's getting the pencil grip ready, Jason.
Yeah, he was thinking about little PK there. Here we go.
I think that's almost a slightly different grip again. Than
Yeah,
used
he
there.
has it between his fingers. But it's very similar idea. It's a nice drop on the red. That's what you want with those close cannons, is to really focus. Some of us just worry about making the cannon. It's so much better if you get a nice drop. It was very convenient to talk about the pencil grip, and then both players have demonstrated it. A bit soft. Oh.
33.
No room around that, whites.
No.
It's generally a rule where if you add up the space either side of the object ball when it's right in the jaws, if it adds up to just over half a ball, I think, then the player can get behind it for an in off. But when it's right in the middle of the pocket like that, there's no chance really.
But it wasn't deep enough in the pocket for him to be angled, for Martin to just run them onto the top cushion. I think we'll see Peter move this red, or attempt to move this red. Oh, he's got to play safe, is he? No.
Martin can reach around. Can he get the yellow out of bulk as well? Oh, what happened there?
A bit of foul, I think. Automatic, well, not automatic respot. The player gets the option to respot the balls when there's a foul, or he can play them as they lie. On these new cloths, you'll see the players play this to just bring the white off 2 cushions. You guys did the club tables and worn cloths might bring that white off 3 cushions, but very dangerous on these cloths. You have to hit it harder, you get more throw.
Absolutely, and playing the white off 3 cushions, there's always a risk of the white ended up dropping into the middle or catching
Yeah.
the draw and ending in an awkward position. So it's a much safer way of playing it, but that's delicate. Well, that screwing off it was not played to send the red in at a bulk, but just caught Peter out there.
I'd like to see Martin make a break here.
Yeah, he's still capable of scoring very, great breaks and heavy scoring. So, but let's see if he can get the balls back in prime position here. Look, this is going to have to send the yellow in net a bulk, I think, on this one.
Look at the crowd for that match. It was in the golden era of billiards.
Yeah, incredible. Some of those pictures are fantastic, and must have been, obviously the sort of the when photography wasn't sort of quite as common as it is now, and just the look on everyone's faces there, it's fantastic, really. I think they were almost paying as much attention to the camera when that photo was taken as the actual match. They were looking around. Yeah, it's great.
Different era. No TV, no video games. Just some sports like billiards were just so much more popular.
Yeah, the 2 main halls, I think, in those days, of course, were Burston's and Burroughs and Watts, both in London, where all the big matches were played. 1,000 breaks were commonplace. One of the big 4, or the big 5, I should say. Martin has got the balls in a good position here, so hopefully he can stay at the table. Obviously, he knows the match is long gone, but still concentrating fully.
The players from that era, it's interesting as you travel around the world. Most billiard rooms in Australia will have a photo of Walter Lindrum. In New Zealand, they'll have a photo of Clark McConaughey. And over here, I suspect it's probably Joe Davis.
Very much, yeah, very often, yes. Yeah.
And Martin's got him at top. This is broadly called top of the table if you don't see a lot of billiards. The view on your screen, it looks like the bottom of the table, but from the player's point of view, it's the top of the table. Causey are nearly 1,000 ahead of Steve Brookshaw. Rob Hall, 580 ahead.
Yeah, as I said, there's 4 tables in this room, the gold room, as they call it here at Landywood Snooker Club. 4 star tables. and there's 8 more tables in another room which was used prior to this stage.
Slightly bigger pockets on the other table.
Yeah. Yeah, these 4 tables are cut sort of to the tournament template, as you would see in snooker.
For us ordinary players, a pot along the top cushion on these tables is a knee trembler. In the other room, you can have a bit of a go.
Nice recovery shot there, just pushing the white back into prime position. Another little correcting cannon, but it's just slipped behind it. That's so easy to do on here, isn't it? These reactive
Yeah.
cloths, but just call it slightly too much to get behind it.
And there's a thing that happens in these long billiards matches, which if you don't play them, you don't understand, is that one player gets hot and the other player gets cold. And you can sometimes see a match between two fairly evenly players that becomes very one-sided. It's not necessarily an indication of the skills of the player. It's just one guy's having a good day. Someone makes a 200 break and means you've sat in your chair for 12 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about the likes of Linjam and Davis, when Walter Linjam had his 4,137 break, I believe Joe Davis followed it the very next visit with a 1,000 break himself.
Yes, unbelievable. That's just awesome.
The side is just
Nice. Very
nicely
nice.
played, yeah. We talk about the players needing a lot of concentration during these long matches, but the referee can't take their eye off the game or their mind off the game when if you're sat down, and your opponent's on a big break. Although the players are always trying to stay in the zone because they could always get a chance, but you can almost relax your brain for a second, try and get ready for your next visit. But the referee has got to be focused from start to finish. So it's
Sitting out is actually a skill that's worth developing in snooker as well as billiards. To be able to not completely go to sleep, but to be able to relax a little when you sit down and then get mentally alert when it's your shot.
I think, and also on that as well, I think
That's a nice fluke.
the top players are sort of they always look focused when they're sat there. They're not sort of slouching in their seat and giving off negative sort of body language. I remember Matt Bolton was he doesn't seem to play nowadays, which is unfortunate. But I remember when he was not on the table, he'd always be sat up straight and fully focused on the table, and he almost gave off the impression to his opponent that if you miss, he was going to pounce on it.
Yeah. There's a few different styles. Peter likes to have a chat when he's sitting out. He looks around the room to see if there's anyone he knows who. Dave Causey is not good at sitting out. You'll see him get out of his chair and wander around a bit. That looks like semi-finals will be Peter Gilchrist versus Peter Sheehan and Dave Causey versus Rob Hall. That will be 3 p.m. English time, 10 p.m. in Singapore, midnight in Australia. Anywhere else, I can't help you. You'll have to Google it. Of course, these matches are all available on YouTube. If it's approaching your bedtime, you can watch tomorrow. We just caught a little glimpse on that last shot that Sam gave us of the control panel of the heating under the table. These slates are set for 40 degrees, I think. Here we go, pencil grip between the fingers. Very nice.
Yeah, brilliant. A PK shot there, keeping the balls nicely close together. Not quite nursery kind of position, but yeah. So the 4 semi-finalists will be the same as last year's World Championship in Singapore, although on that occasion, Corsia played Peter Sheehan, Hall played Gilchrist.
I think that scored the cannon. Almost a foul, but very hard to tell. That was the voice of Sam Jones, videographer. You could hear there. Maybe you couldn't hear it. We could.
Voices are up. We're hearing things, Jason. That's what 5 days of billiards. That's hearing voices in our head. No, that was the just confirmation that we had that the white wasn't contacted.
There's that same shot. Bring it round off 2 cushions. You can play it just a tiny bit thick on these tables and still get nice position.
This looks prime drop cannon position, really. White's not dropped exactly where you.
They got a bit thin, I think.
Little cannons there. Some players may have tried to push the ratio over the pocket in one shot, but playing a couple of cannons, doing it in 2 or 3 shots, it manoeuvres the balls to a much better position. But there's that heating panel that we mentioned.
So this one's a bit hotter. This is 47, 48.
The heating is spread pretty evenly over the table.
I remember the first time I felt table heating was in the old Carlo room in Ireland, and there were some real hot spots on the table. It's gotten much better with time. It's quite a problem in warm climates like Singapore. The amount of there's nearly a ton of slate on each table. When you heat it up, it's acting like a radiator. So you actually need very strong air conditioning to counteract that. But in a colder climate, you really don't need room heaters on if you've got heated slates. They act like radiators. And they consume a massive amount of power. That's just, well, Rosser, the Ronnie O'Sullivan Snooker Academy, the power bill was frightening. 12 heated slates and all the air conditioners going full bore. It's another bad drop cannon.
Yeah, it certainly just adds not only to the speed of the table, but just you can get it adds much more slides to the cloth and the cushions. You get that delayed effect when you're putting screw on. as the cue ball grips the cloth and then zips back.
Yeah.
The ball's off the throw wider, so a lot of players I think would have been getting used to playing the long losers with a touch check side.
Even your middle pocket losers, you have to be quite careful. You're just bringing it up and down the table. You get a little bit of throw, a little bit of extra throw.
Catching that near Joel can be fatal, really, on those
Mm,
bit of pocket half.
that's a nice cannon.
So just 5 minutes to go then. After this second 90-minute session, and the 4-hour semi-final awaits.
Gilchrist 47.
Thanks again to the Landywood Snooker Club for having us. Really terrific club. If you're in the UK, if you're near here or passing through the area, please come in. It's a really terrific little club. Extremely friendly staff.
Yep, it's located in Midlands between Walsall and Cannock. Great Whirly.
If you haven't got your queue, just call in, have a beer and a burger and have a look.
Or a coffee and a cake. Whatever you fancy.
Yes, now one of the staff members here cooks a different cake every day. A little bit thick. I tried to climb in.
Goodwill 9.
You could angle him here. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, along the top cushion.
Trying to jaw snooker him, and that's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Seeing the funny side of that.
A lot of players don't see that opportunity to angle someone. And on these star tables, you can be anchored on like half the table if you're tight in against the jaw.
Yeah, no sort of thought about playing safe. It's just a case of trying to hit the balls and hope for the best, really.
Yeah.
So Stefan Ung, the referee, spots the balls. So we'll see the same shot again. 2 cushions for the whites. Leave a drop cannon.
The stream will finish as soon as the match is over. Thanks everyone for joining us. Final tomorrow, 5-hour final starts at 1 p.m. UK time.
Yes, it should be a great final. Whoever reaches that stage. And spectators are welcome if you're
Little
in
kick,
the area.
little kick. One of the beauties of this format with these longer matches is by the time you get to the final, the players are in top form. They've picked up the pace. They've had a really good warm up. Don't know where the club sourced all the photos, but you come in and ask Paul, I'm sure he'll tell you.
Yeah, there's a great selection of memorabilia, some really good quality stuff.
It's one of the beauties of this club that we're playing on modern tables with modern lighting, but it's just got this, old world feel about it.
Absolutely, but without being sort of too overpowering, it's just a great balance
Yeah.
they've got. And all the look at that picture there, all the spectators looking around at the photo
Yep.
being taken. Oh,
Go-
that was
Go Davis.
incredible.
Eight.
Just huge crowds of billiards in those days. I'll still be seeing or hearing the bell rather in the next 10 seconds or so.
I'm not sure if our digital clock's perfect with the other timers. Whoa. There we go. Thanks, everyone. See you for the next match.
No, I got it from a lad in Brighouse. I was going back to. Thank you so much for the I was going back from Manchester, Middlesbrough, and then he called in. This lad was selling it, and it's pretty much landmark you anyway. So yeah.